Hello again, everyone. As for Ravenheart, back in the Monster Sanctuary PvP landscape. Told you guys I'd be back for the Blind Band tournament, and here I am. I did want to squeeze in some other community stuff, but I ended up having some stuff pop up in between the end of the draft tournament and the beginning of this, so couldn't unfortunately squeeze that in. But here we are, and we have round 1 versus Minwerdi, and we're gonna just take a little bit here to cover who he banned, who I banned, their team, my team, and take a little bit of look at what I have planned to potentially run for this week. Kind of what I've cooked up with, I think that will give me some play in this matchup. So with that, let's go to the teams. Obviously, these are public info, so this is nothing surprising. My team is Ascendant, Eldergel, Konko, Megarock, Nautilid, Reduga, Spectral Eagle, Tarblob, Terragile, and Vertrag. A little bit of a mixed buff stacking comp, sorcery focus, Nautilid in there just as a war crime, a bit of charge stacking, bit of age stacking. We've got a little bit of mix, but a lot of just mons that I enjoy playing with. Also a little bit of channel balance in here as well, so kind of just a flexible overall team, and we're going to see how it works. Minwerdi's team is Azarak, Grulu, Griffinix, Krakaturtle, Magmamoth, Oculus, Keelan, Rampede, Sizzle Knight, and Scorch. So, what stands out to me here is there's clearly Burn at play, as Burn is a main feature of Griffinix, Krakaturtle, Magmamoth, Rampede, Sizzle Knight, and Scorch. Literally 60% of the opponent's team. Alongside of that, Oculus and Grulu are able to contribute to Burn as well, via just kind of mixed bag debuff spamming. Alongside of that, we also have some shock synergy at play here, which is mostly focused around Keelan, Sizzle Knight, and to a lesser extent, Oculus, and then Grulu again as just kind of a master of all trades debuffer. And Sizzle Knight here is kind of the main overlap of Burn and Shock, as Sizzle really wants to kind of dish out and capitalize on both being in play. And then there's kind of a third underlying thing behind the scenes here, which is blind. Obviously, Azarak is just a known blind pain in the ass. We all know it. And I'm sure some of us hate it. I definitely hate it. But alongside of that, Sizzle Knight is also known for introducing blind into the game via Blinding Sparks, I think is the name of the passive, but pretty much just if you're burned or shocked and you get hit, you have a chance to get blinded, alongside of if you hit Sizzle Knight, you get blinded. And then I believe Oculus may also have a little bit of touch into blind, but outside of Azarak, it is a light splash. Azarak's main focus is like blind and martial prowess. And then just kind of a pretty good charge synergy as well. A lot of the shock mons kind of have overlapping charge synergy anyways. So that's also something to take stock of. But charge is usually kind of a supplementary focus and not usually the primary focus. I think it's really only the primary focus in charged buffs, which is just kind of spam a lot of charge and just all kinds of buffs all over the place. So, opponent's definitely focusing on a couple different debuffs, and I'm going to want to do my best to keep those under control while pushing my way through the fight as much as possible. My team is got plenty of aging and plenty of ability to stack buffs up quite a bit. Multiple instances of multi-channel, multiple instances of multi-might, multiple instances of multi-sorcery. So, if I can survive and drag the battle on for a couple turns, my monsters will naturally scale up quite a bit in power. And as long as I don't get drowned under the debuffs and the supplementary effects that go along with them, I think I have a pretty reasonable chance here. So with that, let's talk about my ban. And drumroll, to probably nobody's surprise, it's Azarak. I am not always just going to snap ban Azarak in this tournament. I will say that now, because these matches go up on YouTube, people are going to watch, people are going to see how I play, and see what my thought process is. Let that be known that just because you have an Azarak on your team does not mean I'm banning the asshole every single time. In this matchup, I kind of had 2.5 targets that I was considering for bans. Azarak is one, and we'll get back to why Azarak in a second, since I did actually ban Azarak. Sizzle Knight was the other main ban that I considered. Because, as I mentioned, it is the intersection of Burn and Shock, of which my opponent has invested many of their picks into. We have 60% of their team is somewhat focused on Burn, 30 to 40% of their team is involved in Shock. Sizzle Knight is that intersection. Cutting it out removes one of the most powerful pieces of the puzzle. It also takes out some of the best shock passives in Impactful Shock and things like that out of play. It takes out some supplemental blind stuff out of play, although Azarak would be on the table and that would just lead to much more blind nonsense than Sizzle would ever more than likely be able to output. And so I did consider Sizzle because it is kind of that linchpin between the two strategies. And I'm not really sure whether I banned right or not. As for the half option that I mentioned, that would have been Rampede. Again, my opponent has 60% of their team committed to Burn. I am well aware of what Rampede is on Burn comps. It is an excellent defensive shielder in the early stages of the battle, putting up lots of shield, protecting the allies, while it builds up, while you're getting the burns applied to the enemy team before it turns the corner, very similar to like a Gravity Vertrag, and it just starts trying to kill things. And so I did think about that potentially being an option, because if I cut that out, I cut a lot of the really terrifying inevitability that Burn has, where like that thing is a real big problem. Also, it's extremely durable, so it's really hard to very quickly get off of the battlefield before it creates problems for you. However, I elected against it. And then we come back to Azarak. And the reason I banned Azarak is, again, blind. In this scenario, I actually kind of like my comp against my opponent's comp in an average game. I think I can outscale my opponent given turn over turn because of aging, because of all of the buff stacking that I'll be able to do. I think I can itemize to counteract debuffs or potentially itemize to deal with light splashes of blind from something like a Sizzle Knight. Azarak is simply too much blind pressure turn over turn, and then combined with martial prowess, making it so that way if I do attack with my damage dealer every turn to clear blind stacks and to try to get lucky, get a kill, or get some kind of damage to put any kind of pressure on my opponent just gets free buffs, which allows them to potentially flip the scaling metric back on me. And so I think taking Azarak out of the equation here is the correct choice for the week. Again, I'm not going to snap ban Azarak every time, but in this scenario, I do actually think that it was the correct play because I generally like my comp against my opponent's comp for this week. Moving on to my opponent's van. Now, there's an elephant on my team known as Nautilid. And I fully expect Nautilid to eat a ban in many, many weeks. However, there are two other Mons on my team that I do expect to reasonably eat a ban some percentage of the time, and one of them did eat the ban this week. And that Mon is Vertrag. So my opponent takes out my Vertrag for week 1. I actually don't think that this is that terrible of a decision. Vertrag is absolutely my best cleanser, and it's not even close. And Vertrag sitting on my field pretty much invalidates any ability to go for, like, Shock Burn as a win condition. Because Vertrag would just rip it to shreds turn over turn. You would just never really be able to profitably stack up enough debuffs to turn the corner on me. Vertrag is just simply clicking heals every single turn while removing 3-4 debuffs a turn. And then, obviously, it's an ever-present ticking time bomb until gravity hits. Absolutely, I think this is the correct decision here, as it is both a massive threat and a big scaling vector on my team, because it is age synergy for the rest of my team. It is the ever-present threat of gravity waiting to try to get a double or triple kill at some point during the battle. And then it's also the closest thing to a hard counter that I have in this matchup. So I do think Minwerdi made the correct decision in banning Vertrag here. That being said, cleansing is something that you can itemize for. And so banning the cleanser of a team is not necessarily always going to be the right decision. Especially when it is leaving something like a Nautilid to potentially run roughshod. And we'll see how that plays out this week when we get to the matches, which will either be directly flowing right from this video, depending on how long I ramble, or this will get cut, and then I will put the videos together with some degree of probably terrible video editing, because it'll be literally my first time, and we'll go from there. But let's go into game, and let's look at what I have cooked up for this week. So let's go into the menu. And yes, my mons are nicknamed because you will be seeing them week after week after week, most likely. So, realistically, I see 8 potential mons that I will bring this week. Will I substitute between games? It is very possible. It is more likely that I may shift items than the team. I do really like this core 6 that I tested a little bit earlier. But in more thinking while I was doing nicknames and prepping before starting to record this video, I do actually think that Konko might actually have a little bit of a spot here. I am going to start the 6 that I practiced on, and then we are going to go from there and make a decision on if I want to change things out as I play. But we'll start with good old Nautilid. You know him, you love him, and it's appropriately named War Criminal because that's exactly what this damn thing is. We are Light Shift for Mass Mystify because this ability is broken. And we are a pretty standard Mass Mystify setup, mostly focused on buffing and then causing the buffs to debuff, causing the debuffs to buff, and you know, cue the Benny Hill music. You know what it is at this point. We're going with Fortress for the ultimate. I think this is the best decision for my team as an overall. I really just want the ability to click a big shield button in the scenarios where I need it for the whole team, and maybe get a barrier buff if cleanses have happened and I happen to lose barrier on like multiple mons or anything like that. And then we got Whirlpool as like a flex damage option, and shot and voltage as well. I do have some shock synergy auras on like Terragile and Elder Gel, the things that like redirect to like the highest defense and whatnot. So I think carrying voltage here on Nautilid is probably worthwhile. Also, my opponent's weaknesses are fairly well balanced actually, but wind and water are technically the most populous at 2 alongside debuff, so I guess it's technically exploiting weaknesses as well as it can. But yeah, pretty much a standard issue Nautilid. We are going to start at least with the fishing rod, and I am fully prepared to swap this to cleanse or to restoring wand if need be between rounds. It's something that I'm not sure how much I'm going to need, but we're gonna, we're gonna play it as is for game 1, and then we're gonna see where we go from there. But yeah, pretty much a standard Nautilid, crown, hide, hood, just good defensive stats. We're just trying to have this Nautilid stick around and be a nuisance. Next up, we got Root Beer, because he floats. Yes, corny humor. Welcome to being old. We are Light Shift for Enlightened. It is by far the best shift to synergize with the rest of my team comp. I am trying to buff stack mostly sorcery and or might and a little bit of channel to the correct places, and Enlighten gives me a chance to ramp up faster, and that's exactly what I am in for. Outside of that, this Ascendant is built more as a tanky support that will eventually turn the corner and threaten some damage after a few turns. It is absolutely not meant to be a high damage output mon right off the rip. We are fully focused on crit, critical healing, healing wave, bolster. We have cleansing flame for some utility. We've got some evasion chance. We've got helping hand as our single target heal. We have whirlwind for the can't be dodged. And again, wind is one of the more common Weaknesses that my opponent's team has. We've got some good defensive bonuses from Sidekick Spell Shield with multi-sidekick, and we got the aging stuff over here. Notably, I am not taking Path to Valhalla or Path to Knowledge because my mons are not warrior or mage, I believe, outside of Ascendant himself. Yep. So, not really capitalizing that well. It would only buff him, which is to say that, like, it's still good. I may reconsider a little bit. I wouldn't mind getting Path to Valhalla on. Just because it getting attacked and then Enlighten sharing like Might to Mega Rock would be pretty relevant, but I don't know for right now. This might be a between game thing. I might do a little bit of a skill rework between games. However, I do have many spirits, so we will definitely be using Path to Ascension. But yep, just durable support style Ascendant that will kind of turn the corner and do some damage a little bit later on in the fight. We are going with a Restoring Wand instead of a fan. I'm taking a little bit of a hit on my crit chance for the crit synergies that Ascendant has in order to guarantee that I have some access to cleansing right off the rip. And this is why I'm going to elect to start Nautilid on the Fishing Rod. I think I like that better as an overall, but we'll see how it plays. Fan would be the other thing that I would consider because it is just very, very useful on Ascendant. Purifying Mace, obviously, I'm going to shout that out now. This could go just about anywhere in my team comp, depending on how annoying the Sizzle Knight blinds end up being and the potential Oculus tether that I'm going to have to deal with. So these may or may not swap in between games. We got the Pandora's Box to potentially synergize with Enlightened, Tambourine for some extra durability and some extra healing, and then Buckler for some extra durability and the extra stacks of defensive bonuses. Pretty standard, just supportive Ascendant. Next, Bon Bijou, it's Koseki Bijou, the Mega Rock. And we're going to rock in and we're going to kill people. This is going to be one of my primary DPS for the week. This is a pretty standard Mega Rock channel balance kind of setup. Get this bad boy buffed up and let Mega Rock just kill people. We got the Leaf Slash to make sure that evasion is not a problem. We got the Rock to make sure that evasion is not a problem. We are level 5 Lightning Punches with no investment whatsoever into Fire Punches because, again, my opponent has a couple mons that are weak to wind and has 4 mons that are resistant to fire. So, yeah, I don't really... And only one that's weak to fire. So, I don't really see much reason at all to carry this. I would probably rather just click Leaf Slash or the neutral flurry or punch combo. But yeah, this is just your standard Mega Rock. Scale up, do crimes, punch people in face. You know it, you love it. Shared Might to hopefully get a little bit of ping-ponging with Ascendant. As more than likely, my lead is going to be Nautilid, Ascendant, Mega Rock. That was working the best in testing. But if that Conko comes in, could be Nautilid, Conko, Mega Rock with the Ascendant in the back to potentially take the Conko's place if Conko goes boom too early. But yep, we are going Trident instead of Heavy Mace. I really, really like Trident on Mega Rock. I love having my damage dealers be that extra little bit bulky. I'm a huge fan of having that little bit of extra bulk investment to potentially live some nonsense, and then try to turn the corner and capitalize on a survival with a counter KO. But the heavy mace is obviously a very defendable option as well. This thing just does so much damage, but it does absolutely cost me survival. And this is one of those things where I'm going to pay attention between games. If I do not feel like my opponent has good early pressure on my Mega Rock in order to actually clear it off of the battlefield in a meaningful manner, I may swap to Heavy Mace to try to press the issue on my opponent even faster. However, in Game 1, in a blind scenario, I would much rather have the Trident to be that extra little bit safe while I'm trying to learn the dynamics of our matchup. We've got the Ancestor Medal, the Crown, and the Dumbbell for the extra stack and the extra offensive and defensive bonuses. Pretty standard Mega Rock. Next up, we got Slimer, the Tarblob. I am the sole representative of Tarblob. Kyra, you are on blast for not putting your little guy in play. But I digress. We're going to bring Tarblob this week. I actually have really kind of enjoyed having it as an overheal mon with pretty good healing off of Life Wave, and then pretty good support option in Vitamin Surge level 4 to put 2 stacks of tether on the enemy. This thing is naturally durable by virtue of double health focus and aging. It's got some good single target healing with some cleanse, because we like that too. We got the Tri-Mage healing in order to stack up some random debuffs that can actually start adding some offensive pressure via debuffs between triple poison, triple burn in like the mid to late stage of a battle when my opponent might not be prepared for it. So I actually find that to be a pretty good fit for my team. Also, it is my only source of AoE cleanse on an ability without having an item in play with Bertrag Band. So Mega Restore, I think, is an excellent ultimate for what I need Tarblob to do. Cleanse a bunch of debuffs, heal my entire team, potentially overheal as well. I really, really like what it offers me. I think the only other thing I would even remotely consider here would be Vitamin Deluge, but I think Mega Restore is by far and away the correct choice here. As for equipment, we have the Restoring Wand to double down on Tarblob being a cleansing machine. We've got Finn to feed into the health scaling and the critical healing. We got the Tambourine, again, same thing. And the Hood for the health scaling and that little bit of mana regen to go alongside of it. I have a good amount of channel buffing in my team, so I'm not worried about being a little cheaty on my mana regeneration rates on my mons. I think I also have a couple mons that have mana regen buffs for the party as well. And also, my opponent does not have excessive access to chill. I think most of their chill might actually have to come from random debuffs, so not too concerned with chill. Next, we got Chicken Nuggy, the Dark Shift Raduga with Critical Apex. This is honestly something where, like, you might see game 1 with Dark Raduga, and then I might literally shift stone this exact mon and then just run it light shift. I'm not actually sure which shift I prefer here, but this is a DPS Raduga. We are invested evenly level 4 in all of the elemental attacks here. I want the can't be dodged of fire and wind. Gemstone Rain is really, really good damage and really critical for when it strikes weaknesses. Snow Veil is solid damage with the self barrier. Not a bad move at all. So, but Snow Veil's kind of weakness is that it's only 4 hits. Could be running Freeze instead. Not really sure which I like better. I kind of want access to the self barrier in this scenario just in case it comes up. I'm not really capitalizing that well. I do have a couple random dominances across my team, but not enough. I think that the chill is super critical here. But yep, this is a standard. Wants to crit, wants to Maneki, wants to spread buffs all over the place. You know it. It does its thing. We're kind of invested a little bit more bulky. We're going Ice Breath for the ultimate. Again, water weaknesses on the opponent's team. I want to hit single target pretty hard. Couple random buffs, couple random cleanses. I think this is the best ultimate for my situation. And yeah, this is our mana upkeep here as well. Equipment, we got the Fan, Fin, Buckler, and Tarot card. Extra stacks of good buffs and good damage output. Good crit damage. Pretty much what you'd expect. Again, as I mentioned, this thing may randomly change to Light Shift during the match. Don't be surprised. But Critical Apex is also very strong. And we are carrying the magic attack, as I have been educated on my mistake not carrying this in testing. And finally, for the main lineup, we have Metroid, the Elder Gel. We're going for Mana Confluence. I'm genuinely not sure which shift I like better, or even like unshifted with like Grey Pearl. But I think I'm going to go Mana Confluence just because it will just naturally build up charge stacks from allies and deal a little bit of extra damage turn over turn. And I think that is good enough for me over Grey Pearl. I could be wrong, not sure. Don't have enough experience with it, but this is a pretty standard aging crit consistency, crit damage stacking kind of DPS mon. This mon has 3 instances of critical consistency, 1 instance of critical defense. So you really want to scale your critical damage, but not your critical chance, which is what we've done here. We got Brains over Brawn because we are carrying a decent amount of ability to output Might because of Mega Rock. And so that will also turn into sorcery for Elder Gel, alongside of the fact that I have a decent amount of sorcery anyways. We are fully invested in the water and wind trees. Again, this is the primary weaknesses that my opponent has. And then because so many fire resistances on the enemy team, I am skipping the extra level on Heat Shimmer here. I really don't want Fireball in a matchup where my opponent has any access to blind. So I think I'm just going to go with Heat Shimmer here. As for ults, I'm going with Bubble Deluge to support the party as a whole over Electrocute. I'm not really sure which is correct here. This could flick between battles depending on if I find out that I need to be hitting lightning more, even though they have technically the same number of weaknesses and the same number of resistances on the enemy's team. So we'll see how that goes as we play through. But yep, just a nice scaler with age, crit, and stack it up with sorcery, deal some damage. Equipment, I'm going with Torch, as we want to scale our crit damage as much as possible. Ancestral Metal, Tarot card for the extra sorcery and channel, and then Crown because I want it to be a little bit tankier, and Crown because of the double mana, mana stability really pushes it, I think, the most for overall survivability compared to other options that I may have. As for the other two, we've got Get Wormed, the Terraria reference, the Terradrial. And this is going to be a Light Shift Holy Presence Terradrial. Holy Presence just really synergizing with the rest of my team as an overall. And this is kind of a hybrid meant to kind of fill the same style of a role as a Vertrag of we're just gonna like click buffs and shields for the most part, build up some predation and build up like age and buffs, and then maybe like piercing lightning kill something. That's the idea here. Build up the supercharged as well, so that way piercing lightning really hits like a Mack truck. Because at that point we'll have about 1100 or so total magic before sorcery is applied. So yeah, and then we also have volatile shield in play as well, and that does stupid things. We're playing Ancient Conjunction because I think 4 or 5 of my mons are ancients, so this has tremendous synergy, stacking up extra age on the rest of the team, which most of my mons are already looking to stack age anyways, so accelerating that age stacking is pretty beneficial to the team as a whole. Maybe I should be using Revenge, I don't know. It's possible, but I'm skipping it here. It could be that I should be dropping a mana plus for the Revenge, and maybe I will make that change when we actually get into gameplay, and perhaps I'll do that even before the match starts. Because the more I'm thinking about that, the more it probably is correct to do so. Equipment, we've got the Moon Sword for the maximum payoff for Supercharged, Ancestral Metal for the extra charge stacks and the extra age stacks, since we kind of want both of those. Charging Sphere to build us up to Supercharged that little bit faster. And the Hood for extra health and extra mana regen, and I think this is part of the reason why I might actually drop that 1 mana plus for the Revenge, because I think it'll help better overall. And then finally, we've got Gonko. This is another Light Shift Enlightened, so we are very, very heavy on this being more of a support Gonko, very similar to the Ascendant. Our primary role is to click buffs, stack up the team real nice and heavy, and then once we are stacked up ourselves, Gonko can turn the corner and do a little bit of damage itself. We are carrying Explosive Blast, not my favorite attack, but I mean, we got it. And we also have Cyclone, again, not my favorite attack, but whatever. We're carrying the Center of Mass to kind of work with those two, and then we're carrying Severe Cuts as our single target. I kind of like this better for the single target anyways, over Air Sickle or Explosion. And then we got a bunch of evasion stacking, we've got a bunch of critical defense stacking, and we got a bunch of critical damage, as you see up there, 182. And notably, I am fully bananaed instead of raspberried, because I want this Gonko to be real chunky. I want this thing to be able to take hits, because Gonko, historically for me, has been a bit underwhelming, because it tends to kind of just explode as soon as it comes into play. And yeah, that's not going to be beneficial to a mon that I want to come in, click Warcast, or click Shroud first, then click Warcast, then maybe click one of them again to stack up more buffs depending on where my team is overall, and then maybe start going on the offensive. Yeah. Absolutely, I think I want the extra durability here, and I think it's going to help tremendously. We also have the Channeling Sustain with a good amount of max mana to just give me some supplemental healing along the way. We got some extra cleansing here as well. And this is probably the mon more than Terradryle that will make an appearance. I don't know over what, maybe over the Tarblob, maybe over the Reduga as a like hybrid damage dealer. We'll have to just actually see and play it by ear. I do think I'm going to hit this with a skill resetter. Let me get MS Paint open on my other monitor here so that I can actually copy my tree, except for that one singular thing that I wish to change. So we got this. Nope, that. I'm not super keen on Earthquake, honestly. Do I want Burrow instead of Earthquake? I think I do, actually. Because we don't have Center of Mass on this one. And overall, I think I'm more in favor of single target instead of AoE. Because I think I would rather just get a kill than get no kill. And I don't think I'm gonna be like sitting around with the luxury to just like scale. Okay. Earthquake, AoE, triple kill like a Vertrag. I mean, predation is a hell of a drug, but I don't think we're gonna quite get there. So yeah, we'll make that one little adjustment. Vertrag, unfortunately, banned for the week. God, I wish Vertrag was here because, yeah, this mod would go hard in this matchup. But that's exactly why my opponent banned it. Also, removing the harmful stacks means that I could have probably more aggressively gone for something different, and that's why I went for Azarak, because I was worried that if I left Azarak and my opponent banned Vertrag, then I'm really stuck, because now I don't have Vertrag to deal with the blinds, since Vertrag is my only source of Purify on the team. As far as Eagle is concerned, I did some testing with Eagle. This mon may actually never make an appearance this tournament. It is generally part of a sorcery team, but God, did this thing not feel good. It has Sure Strike, but boy howdy, does it not feel like it beats evasion. And I think part of the problem is that my team is a sorcery team, and its main damage that would go well with Sure Strike is physical. I guess you have Thunder Strike, but like when you're getting blinded on top of it, it doesn't really help that much. But yeah, I don't know. Initial testing has not impressed me with Spectral Eagle, but I might also just not have enough charge synergy for it. And that's fine. That is what it is. So, you know, we will go as we go week to week. As for now, I'm going to go poke Minwerdi, because we were scheduled to play at 7:30. It is 7:33. So I am going to poke them. I do know that they mentioned that they may have internet issues. So they are hoping that the internet will be good when we go to play, which would be any time now. So I'm going to check in with them before I cut the video, because if we're about to load up, then I'm just going to go right into gameplay. Booting up now. Okay, yep, so we're just going to go right into gameplay. I'm going to go ahead and just get them a code. We are going to host. We are going to go first turn random. And we're just, alright, cool. I don't have to do any funky cutting and editing and nonsense like that this week. Because I delayed recording this until right before playing the match. Which, yeah, I've just been busy with a bunch of other stuff. Path of Exile, Magic the Gathering, all kinds of other stuff. Things that I don't create content for, mostly because both of those games have very, very cluttered content creation spaces. So I do want to create content for them, because I genuinely love both of those games and spend a lot of time playing them. But it's awkward because it often feels like you're not getting anywhere. Like, I used to stream Path all the time. Back when I played a bunch of Path, was unemployed, struggling to find a job, because jobs are a little rough in my area for a little bit. So just kind of wake up, look around on all the job websites that I used, put my application in anywhere that I found available that was within range, and then after spending a few hours on that, I would boot up my stream and play Path, but I'd rarely be above 5 people because that sphere is just very, very cluttered, so I think that's part of why I stopped streaming, because I admittedly play a lot of Path, and I think it's an opportunity cost for me. I kind of want to put the game down, but like, it's just so much fun and so good. It's like hard to put down. And then for Magic, I just don't really know how to create content for Magic. I don't really play on Magic Online much. I don't like Arena because of the monetization. And I mostly play like Commander and like Canadian Highlander and stuff like that. And cube drafts and things of that nature, so just waiting for Minwerdi. For game 1, I do think I'm going to lead with the open that I practiced, which is Nautilid, Ascendant, Mega Rock. And then I'm going to just stick to the game plan that felt pretty good in testing. Alright, so we got Scorch, Griffinix, Rampede, Oculus, Keelan, Magma Moth. So this is almost exclusively a burn team. And no blind? It's kind of hot. Rampede's a little bit of a problem for Bijou. The immediate random agility to start. Lovely. Love that for me. So I'm probably going to go... Apprentice plus Combo Cast. I think I like that as my best leadoff setup. So Oculus is... So that's what? Okay, so Keelan's spending a heal to charge. Just tether. Okay. So no, like, charge battery stuff happening right now, which is probably what I was most afraid of with this lead. And we're just gonna zero out that Griffinix. Pop the Phoenix Affinity. I don't think I'm even worried about the Encapsulate here, because I'm pretty sure I can kill through it anyways. Considering that I'm only at 1 Might stack, right? Or no, I'm at 2 Might stacks now. But I think I got the second one by exploiting weakness, so... I was only at 1 when I nuked the crap out of the opponent. Alright. We do have blind in play, so I'm gonna go ahead and... I don't really need the fortress right now. We're gonna get rid of the blind. And now we're gonna get rid of the Griffinix. Sorry, Griffinix, I love you! You're my favorite mon in the game. Unfortunately, I didn't really know what to build around you, so I went with the other mons I really enjoy. Now we got the Rampede, and the Rampede is definitely a problem. The Rampede might be Ascendant's problem, though. Is what I'm thinking. It's like Ascendant's gonna have a pretty fat cleansing flame. Ooh! Alright, well, that lets me get Reduga in, actually. I think I'm just gonna double here. Make sure I kill this thing. I'm putting my Reduga at slight risk because it's now weak to fire. But it's pretty buffed up. It's pretty defended. But getting that Rampede out of play, I think, was worth it. I do want to just kill this Keelan, but unfortunately, my best answer to Keelan is currently dead. Because Megarok could have just murdered it. Good God. Some of these mons just do so much damage. I don't understand. Like, you just came into play. How are you doing this much damage with no buffs? Get out of here. I'm just gonna stay with my plan of just killing the back every turn. I am slightly worried about the 70 charge stacks on Oculus. I do know that thing can kind of... Yeah, I bet Oculus is about to let one rip on me. And it's my Elder Gel, so this is probably going to be an Arcane Diffusion targeting my Elder Gel. With 70 charge stacks, I might lose my Elder Gel's Phoenix Affinity. Like, I have to assume that's what this is? No. Interesting. I have Spell Shield. I could get more sidekicks, or I can start throwing in some damage. Right, I always forget that Candle Cat's weak to fire. Alright. I'll take them on advantage. I think I have enough pressure to continue here. They said GG in chat, but I'm not going to GG back until the game is actually over. Just in case some clowny nonsense happens. I don't really see a universe where I'm losing this, but... I do not have the best damage dealers against exactly these two mons. So... Alright, I think that might put enough pressure on to close this one out. Okay, so I'm basically right to kind of ignore these two and just kill the backline every time. Because even with like 70 charge stacks, they weren't able to kill my what do you call it? My... Oh, well, there we go. Yep, that'll do it. They weren't able to kill my Elder Gel. I don't really want to reveal Slime Rain. So I guess I just won't reveal, like, anything if I can help it. Alright, so we win game 1. So I think my idea here, because of how well that game worked, is I'm not going to swap my team at all until they give me a reason to. Because that worked. So I think I'm just going to keep the same comp. I do expect that they may play slightly differently. They may focus a little bit more on my Mega Rock. But they're going first, so I can go... I can get a little bit better of a first turn because I'll have 3 actions. Also, yeah, actually, I am going to make one change. This is redundant. Let's get the restoring wand on Nautilid. I think They are not excessively cleansing me, so the extra buff off of Fishing Rod is really unnecessary past a couple turns. It definitely accelerates my early game, but it probably did nothing for the majority of that game. And there was a lot in the middle portion of that game, especially once it was the Elder Gel as my carry, where a lot of the damage that was incoming was actually the debuffs, like the burns and stuff. And having the incidental cleansing just every turn from a mon that's absolutely never going to attack, pretty much, until I'm effectively turning the corner, I think is correct. All right, so we do not have an Oculus and we do not have a Keelan. So the two that got stranded at the end doing nothing are gone. And we have a Grulu, who is a just jack of all trades debuffer. And we have the Krakaturtle, which is a mon that I don't know what it does, aside of it has burn synergy. Alright, so the Rampede is in. Now, I do want to kill the Rampede, especially after a full offense. That's terrifying. However, there is a Grulu, and I kind of wouldn't mind killing the Grulu on turn 1. Because it's a debuff mastery Grulu. But Rampede is a problem. However, I don't really have my good... Oh, well, okay. Jesus Christ. Alright, so I cannot kill the Rampede guaranteed. I have to gamble it. I could kill Scorch. I could kill Grulu. I'm going to gamble the Rampede, though. Alright, should have probably gone after Grulu. However, I'm on an okay element for right now. Man, this Mega Rock is just not doing it. But yeah, the Rampede is obviously the problem. I do want to get it off the field as quickly as possible. Wow. Okay. So this is super risky now. I have to kind of go for it, though. And that's really, really bad, because I don't know that I'm going to have enough damage to get this thing out of here. And it randomly has some evasion now. Cool. Love that. Wow, okay. Well, so this match is going to be who has first turn every game. Do I just not bring Mega Rock? Mega Rock has done nothing in 2 games in a row. That feels so wrong, but... Do I only bring Mega Rock when I'm going first? Wow, that actually got my Phoenix Affinity? Jesus Christ. Alright. I don't know if I can make this stable, but we're certainly going to try. If I don't lose my Elder Gel, I can definitely heal it over a couple turns with Ascendant. It's just a matter of how much is it about to take from this Magma Moth. Oh, Magma Moth has a neutral. Okay, sure. I was not aware of that. Alright. Now I'm suddenly a debuff stall team? And I don't know that it's going to work. But we're sure as hell gonna try. Alright. Cool. Holy crap. Alright. 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 That Rampede is such a problem, though. Is it the Terradrill? I don't know. Like, I feel like I want to try this first. But I also just feel like this might not help because, like, Mega Rock is just getting zeroed out every time. But yeah, let's try this. I think. I don't think I need purifying one or purifying maces because I really haven't been getting hit with too many harmful stacks. There's really only like the occasional wound or the occasional like bleed or something like that. It's not anything super critical. Do I lead with Ascendant and... Do I lead with this, like, Nautilid, Ascendant, and Reduga? I think I look to see what their team is. They're probably identifying that I'm having a bit of an issue with Rampede. And they're not wrong. But I think if I'm gonna try this, I have to try it when I'm on the play. Not when I'm going second. Alright, so yep. Rampede's back. So I expect the Rampede lead. No. Interesting. So this is a little bit more burn-centric of a start. So definitely my cleansing is going to shine here. So do I send on Reduga on turn 2? I think I do. I could also Fortress here. But we still have a bunch of sorcery stacks that we don't have yet. I mean, I could kill the Gryphonix. I think I just want to pressure the Gryphonix, though. Pick up a random buff. Continue to scale. I'm trying to be careful about when I open myself up on my elemental shift. I mean, Garulu might actually be a bigger problem than Gryphonix. Although Gryphonix is at 16 charge. And it's a Dark Shift Gryphonix, so... yeah. Let's get rid of the Gryphonix before it's a problem. Wow, right. Yeah, Phoenix Affinity. I probably should have gone in on that Gryphonix earlier. It's way too ramped up now. So, like, I probably lose my Reduga. Although, I have my Phoenix Affinity up. But I'm also quad burned. So, chances are if I get P8, I'm just gone on my turn. To the debuff damage. Yeah. Alright. Do I go rock? I think I do. Unfortunately, one turn off of full potential being ready. 7. Okay, this is a regen stacking comp. I see. So I should have gone for the earlier kill on the Griffinix when I had the chance. That was a mistake not taking it. Forgetting about PA. Now I'm in a really bad spot. Good lord. So it probably has Shred, because I think that's something Griffinix usually has. Oh, my Nautilid died. Okay. That's not what I expected. Yeah, that was like so bad that I didn't even get the kill last turn. I basically have to like high roll crits and bleeds in order to kill. I don't even know that it matters. Yeah. Good lord. Okay. I might need the Terradrial. I also just need to kill Griffinix as soon as possible. I can't really dilly-dally on that one. Yeah, this is just not enough damage right now. I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to kill this Griffinix. I might as well try. I mean, I guess I have aging in my favor, but the Griffinix has just stacking charge. Which is really hard to deal with. Well, that's a problem. I don't think I can combo enough now to actually get any kills. Yeah, that combo is pathetic. The Krakatoturtle is... Actually, maybe the Krakatoturtle is the thing that needs to die first. Just a massive health and shield battery. Just trying to get any kind of information that I can here. Good God, okay. Sure. Alright. This did not work. Let's get the Terror Trial in. So what is my plan? What is my plan? I think I need the heavy mace here. Because Mega Rock ain't surviving anyways, so might as well guarantee the kill on the way through. Elder Gel has literally been the MVP so far. Nautilin and Ascendant have also been carrying pretty good. Reduga has been excellent. Light Reduga is buff mastery, right? Let's it ramp up a little bit more if it can survive. 2 defense, 1 health, 2 magic against... Okay, Dark Shift has way higher damage. Do I want to go first or do I want to go second? Was I first in game 1? I think so. I did like the Reduga open. I just have no way to get might on this guy aside of random buffs. I've got Burrow, which is at least going to be helpful against Griffinix. Oh, you know what? Yeah, they never attack my Ascendant though, so or whenever an allied warrior gets attacked. Okay. So if I survive, I get my buff. Okay, yeah, maybe this was an oversight. I misread the way that works. I'm gonna wait on... Perhaps I don't go concealed because they don't seem terribly interested in going after my supports. Not saying that that's incorrect in any way. I do want this. I have 2 points. I haven't taken the health plus. So I'm currently dropping this and concealed. Do I take a magic plus maybe? What is this? Mana healing? Actually, yeah, let's take mana healing. Okay. I think I like that a little bit better. I think this is gonna be how we rock out. I knew that Rampede was gonna be a problem, and maybe I should have just dealt with the Azarac instead of the Rampede. I'm gonna keep that in mind for the future opponents, because there's like 4 people playing Burn. Alright, so the Rampede, so it's the same team as last run. So I can either go fully aggressive on the rock. Okay. Alright. I'm about as insulated as I can be against a turn 1 kill, I think. There's no charge stacks, there's no, like, sorcery. So many fucking regens, oh my god. So infuriating. I mean, this kills. I'm trying to not risk this time. Let's rock the crap out of the Griffin X. I'm not doing well on random might buffs, though. Really? I lost a might buff in that exchange? Is it not 75% to get might? Wow, okay. Whatever. Sure. Yep, and there's evasion in play, and I have to gamble. Cool. I low-rolled my extra sorcery stacks on Raduga. And I don't get the kill. Going after Ascendant. Interesting. Good God, why? Okay, so I don't change back to neutral. Good to know. So once you shift, you're shifted permanently. Yeah, I don't know how I break this. I literally just cannot get this Verduga to do enough damage to one-shot this stuff. Which is wild to me. I probably lose my Ascendant this turn. No, I lose... Okay. Interesting. That's not where I expected that to go. Yeah, I can get through the shield, but then they're just back at full shield the next turn. I'm literally making zero progress. I'm just getting debuffed to hell. And my Ascendant cannot keep up with it. Holy crap. We did something. And now the Rampede comes in. Which is its own bag of problems, alongside of this, Griffinix that I can't kill currently. How do I kill this Griffinix? A prayer. That's how I kill this Griffin. It's not... I don't know how it happens. Cool. Yeah, Rampede is maybe a little good. Why is it so high damage and so ungodly tanky? Cool. Cool. Yeah. Couldn't beat 7 regen. How am I not dead? What? I don't understand. Why is this game not over? Consolation prize, I killed the Rampede at the end. I don't know how. But considering that I have no healing, and both of my mons are on 10%, against a 52 stack Griffin. Cool. Because it needed that. Come on, why are we slow rolling? Really? Pretty sure Shred could have just ended the battle a little bit faster there, but whatever. Alright. Well, that was terrible. I honestly thought that was gonna be a lot different after game 1. Yeah. That ended up being really disappointing. Like, I love, like, fresh mons coming in and one-tapping my mons with, like, only a single turn worth of buffs. That felt great. Just unable to kill through the regen shield, unable to kill Rampede at all, or Griffinix. That felt awful. And boy, oh boy, I get to look forward to it like 3 more times, probably, because there's so many people playing Burn. So yeah, that was pretty bad. Pretty bad round 1, given how game 1 went. I actually thought there was some potential there. Yeah. I definitely feel like this Eagle is going to be dead weight on my team the whole tournament. I don't even know like how to begin making this thing do anything. I don't really have shock synergy. And just feels like it loses to evasion. Because its only evasion measure is pretty mediocre with its magical attacks outside of Thunderstrike. Meaning it has like no fire coverage. Effectively. I guess I could use level 1 Solar Burst. Because that's at least 170 power. Still, though, clicking a 170 power attack doesn't seem like a good way to win a game. If your opponent's clicking 400 power attacks every turn. But multi-hybrid and power is actually good. Perhaps I should just be trying to use Eagle as like a suicide mon to just take something out at the start of the game. Since it like starts with a bunch of charge, maybe I just bring it in and just try to blow something up on like turn 1 or 2, and then if it dies, it dies at that point. Could be a choice, I guess. I'll have to think about it. We'll have to see who we get paired up against next week. Hopefully not another burn team, because there's so damn many of them in the lineup. But they are somewhat meaningfully different from one another. So maybe we could adjust. Because the game 1 actually felt really like kind of in my favor. But then games 2, 3, and 4 literally didn't even feel remotely winnable, so yeah. Alright, well, that's going to be the end of this video. I will be back for round 2 once it goes up, and once I get everything scheduled. So, until next time, I will see you on the next video.